Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Ruth the Crafter Mom, and today we're going to talk about my September recap for the books that I read. So let's start. First things first, I want to show you what is on my to be read list for the month of October on physical books. The first one is this one. It's called The Midnight Library. I started reading it already, and it's part of a traveling book. And I'm the second person on this that the book is traveling. So hopefully I finish this week, and I can start the next book that I need to read. I have other books so I have two book clubs. One is a traveling book club, one is this one, and on that also we have a monthly book that we decided to do a Zoom every month starting this month, and the book that we pick is Such Sharp Teeth. And I'm gonna put it in the description below. You can join our traveling book club, and this book is going to be the book for October, and we're gonna have like a discussion on the 19th and on Zoom, and we're just gonna talk about like how do we like the book and all the good things. So if you want to join us, you can click on the link that it's underneath. Also, this book is also traveling, and I bought it before I knew that it was gonna be one of our traveling books, and I'm excited to read this one. It's called Assistant to the Villain, and it was the monthly pick for Barnes and Nobles for the month of September also, but I'm just gonna read it this month because it seems something interesting to read this month of October. And I have this one, My Roommate is a Vampire. I've been eyeing this book, and a lot of bookstagrammers put them up, and they have very, very good reviews. So I really want to read this. It seems interesting and funny. So I want to see what it's all about. And he says, who says you can teach an old vampire new tricks? Ooh, I can wait. Seems exciting. So most of my books are going to be some sort of Halloween, horror. I just want to have that. But then besides that, probably I'm going to do a couple audiobooks, included Harry Potter. I started the series in September. And I'm right now on book number 3 on Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So far, I'm rediscovering Harry Potter through an audiobook, and I'm really enjoying it. If you are a fan of Harry Potter and you want to reread them through an audiobook, I really suggest you to do it, especially during this time, because it's it's like the spooky time, and Harry Potter is a wizard and all this stuff going on with Voldemort. So yeah, really interesting. I'm really enjoying, and like I said, rediscovering everything. So let's go really quick to all the books that I have for the month of September. The first book that I read was Best Served Hot, and this book is a second chance book for me. So a couple months ago, I tried to do it as an audiobook, and for some reason, it started very slow, and it wasn't for me, so I left it. Go back to September 1st, I re-download the book, forgetting that I had already tried to read it before, but listened to it. And once it started going, like by the first 10 minutes, I realized that I had listened to this book before, or part of it. So I said, you know what, let's give it a second chance. And this is about a girl named Julie, and she works in an office, and after hours, she is a social media influencer for restaurants in New York City. And her follower count skyrocket when she publishes a video where she is talking to this guy that works in a newspaper, and that he's also a restaurant reviewer, and he doesn't believe on social media. So the newspaper contacts her and contacts him and tells them both that they have to join forces and kind of review restaurants, and the romance kind of blossomed from that. It was okay, to be honest. For being a second chance book, I gave it 3 stars. That's good enough. And I am so sorry for the noise, the background noise. I have a train happening right now. So I'm recording this video very late because my neighbors are doing so much noise lately, and apparently they are moving. So I'm super excited. That means no more noise, at least for a while. Okay, The Inmate, that was the first book in the month of Frida McFadden that I was reading. I read 3 books this past month from Frida McFadden. It's crazy, but I love her books. They are so intense. They are like a psychological thriller, most of them, and it keeps you on the edge. So The Inmate is the story. It's a psychological thriller about a single mom who returns to her hometown after her parents die, and memories of her past begin to haunt her when she takes a job in a federal prison, actually, where the father of her child is. She was the one who was able to put him in jail, and because supposedly he committed a triple homicide, and you get like a dual time story in between the past and the present, and it was a good one. I really liked this book. I gave it 5 stars. I yeah, up to the last second, what a book. Then I read Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and stones I don't know what I did that. And obviously 5 stars. The first book, it was always my favorite book, and I haven't read those books in a while, so I'm happy I finally read it. Well, listen it again, and I know why I enjoy it. It's like rediscovering through Harry's eyes again Hogwarts and all magic, and it was very, very interesting, and seeing all the characters maybe with a different perspective now that I haven't read this in years. So I think now, as I'm getting older, I see it different than I saw it once the first time that I read them. We have The Coworker. This book just released from Frida McFadden, and this one is the story takes place at a nutritional company where the main character, her name is Natalie, is like the top seller. And she has a co-worker that she is the accountant, and her name is Dawn. And Dawn is a little different. She's kind of weird. She has her quirks. She loves turtles, and she likes to give like facts about the turtles. And I don't know where Dawn disappears one day, and they start blaming her. They blame her. She's the prime subject of her disappearance. So very intense and everything, again, until the last moment. What a great book. 5 stars for Frida McFadden, The Coworker. And then the last one that I read from Frida McFadden was The Perfect Son. And that book was weird. It made me so uncomfortable. But it was good. Not good like the Coworker and The Inmate, and that's why I gave it 4 stars. But it was good, and I think the fact that it made me uncomfortable made it good. So this is a mom that gets contacted by the police because a girl disappears, and the last person that supposedly saw her before her disappearance was her son, and her son has some issues that makes her wonder if he was the one who made her disappear. So yeah, it's a really, really good book. Enchanted to Meet You was an advanced reader copies that I got, and I gave it 4.5 stars. And I gave it 4.5 stars because it was funny. The story overall was a little silly, but I gave it 4.5 stars. And it's the story of Jessica. She owns a clothing boutique in a small town, and then this guy Derek comes to town and tells her that she's the chosen one, and she has to help this girl from high school to she's supposed to be the bringer of light, to save her town from the evil that is gonna happen on Halloween. So yeah, there are some characters here and there that are kind of scary, not scary, that are kind of silly, and that I feel that they could have had more potential. I think I overrated it. I should have gave it 3 stars, but apparently I gave it 3.5. So yeah. The Grace Year. This book, one day I was just scrolling through my reels and I saw this reel saying that you have to read this book called The Grace Year. And she explained why, and I was like, maybe I should read it. And oh my god, what a book! It's a dystopian book, and it is about a 16-year-old girl that is sent to an island, an isolated island, for her grace year. So what happens on the grace year? Every girl that turns 16 goes to this place to get rid of their magic, because girls are so dangerous that with their magic they can do stuff to men. So they are, it's like something that has to go with devil and everything. Nobody talks about the grace year, what happens during the grace year. Some of the girls never come back, some other girls don't come the same way that they left, and it repeats from generation to generation. So it was a good book to read because it was a very feminist book from the point of view of this character, that she rebels herself because she didn't want it to, she wanted to know what happens during this grace year, and she didn't want it to finish like the other ones. She wanted more from her life. She didn't want it to be just, getting married and then have kids and then take care of the home, because that's what it was gonna happen after the grace year. She wanted more. She wanted to do a difference, and I totally recommend this book. I'm so grateful that, in one of those reels that I was watching, it happened to a book that good being recommended to me. The next book, it was for a traveling advanced reader's copy, and it's called The Sister of the Bride. And it's a rom-com that is a retake on The Father of the Bride, about letting go, falling in love, and a lot of Italian food. This happened, this is a story about Pippin. And Pippin has to deal with a lot of stuff. Not only her sister is getting married with a girl that she just met like 6 months ago, and she's getting married in 4 months, but also that her mom is gonna sell the business, that it's a family business that it has more than 100 years. And the only positive note to this is that her best friend is coming back, and her best friend Toby, he comes back, he's a doctor, and he's gonna do a residency in town, and they kiss out of nowhere. And that's when things get crazy. So it is so much spice in this book, so much sparks flying. You are like, oh, you just want them like to be together and everything. And I love it because Toby, the best friend, he always has this these dad jokes, and it's so funny. Like, I laugh through that book. The whole book, I was laughing and I was in love with these two characters. 5 stars for this Sister of the Bride book. I truly recommend you. If you love rom-coms and you love funny stories and very cute love stories, this is for you, like, definitely. Then I found this book as an audiobook, and it's called The Lonely Hearts Book Club. And oh my god, this was the sweetest thing ever. I didn't think I was gonna love it the way I love it. And it's about this girl that is a librarian. And there's an old gentleman that always goes to the bookstore. And he is very grumpy and aggressive with everybody. And one day, she doesn't see him. So she finds his address, goes to his house, and discovers that he is sick. So then she forms a book club where she's going to be able to go to his house every day and be like a nurse for him while they do this book club. And they get other people into it with different stories, different backgrounds in life that they are hard for each one. And through books and through the stories in the book, they connected and they become friends. Very, very good book. I gave it 4.5 stars. That half was because I really didn't like how it ended. I was so frustrated by the end. Like, I didn't like it at all. I hated it. But the whole thing of the book, it was just fantastic. I enjoyed every single one of the characters were fantastic. The next book that I read was Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. 5 stars. I have to be honest, the Chamber of Secrets is my least favorite movie from the franchise. I don't like it. I don't know why, but I don't like it. So whenever I have to watch Harry Potter, I fast forward this one, or I really like ignore it and skip it completely, and not one of my favorites. But the book, oh my god, it's the whole thing. And like I said, I see it with a different eyes now as a more as a more grown up person. And I really, really love the characters, how they start developing even more, and you start seeing the friendships growing. I don't have to talk too much about this book. I don't think I think almost everyone would have read this, if anything. So yeah, go and read Harry Potter. It's nice if you haven't. Or if you haven't read it in a long time, this is the sign that you need to read it again. Do it as an audiobook. It's fantastic. I'm enjoying it. The next one that I did was The Cheat Sheet. I am so disappointed in this book. I expected so much from this book. And for some reason, I've been procrastinating in reading this book for a while. I always see it on Barnes and Nobles, and I say, should I pick it up? Should I not? Should I pick it up? Should I not? So I was like, I don't want to pick it up. So I did it as an audiobook at the end. And it's a very short book to do as an audiobook. As you see, it took me one day. It's about these two friends, okay? They are friends forever. She friends on him so bad, and so does him to her, supposedly. But they're both in love with each other. And he's a football player, and she's a dancer. And they finally, she gets totally drunk one night, and she doesn't know that when she's in the bathroom, she says stuff to a reporter, and the reporter is filming everything, and she's recording everything, and they post it on social media. So the people that takes care of his social media tells him that he has to be in a fake relationship for the Super Bowl and everything. And that's when they things start happening, until at the end they realize that they have to be with each other. Well, he knows that. She knows she's in love with him, but she doesn't want to accept that somebody like him can love him. And it was poor torture at some point, just listening to her rambling about this. The next book was Mr. Wrong Number. And it was an okay book. It was funny in some parts. It's this girl, her name is, give me a second. I have like a cheat sheet too also. That I'm like, so I remember parts. Okay, her name is Brie, actually. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's the other book. You see, I'm making mistakes now. Lib is this girl, okay? And her life is a mess. She's always something happening to her. So her building catches on fire. So she goes to sleep at her brother's apartment, where he lives with his best friend. And on her first night there, a random number texts her saying, what is she wearing? So she sarcastically answers stuff, and they become Mr. Wrong Number and Mrs. Misdial. And they start like a relationship, kind of like a friendship, through this text back and forward. And they don't realize that Mr. Wrong Number is actually the best friend of her brother, and he doesn't know that she is Miss Dial, and he doesn't really like her in real life. So it was a cute story. Overall 3 stars. It was fine. Then I have Eat, Pray, Love. I don't know why I waited so long to read this book. This book was a total revelation from beginning to end. From the three, they separate the book by Eat, that was Italy, and then you go Pray on India, and then you go Love in Bali. And before that, you have kind of like a little bit of, so they can put you into context what happens with this author. Uh, her name is Elizabeth Gilbert. There's a movie that they had also like a bunch of years ago, maybe 10, 20 years ago, probably. And I watched the movie and I liked the movie, but the book is one of my favorite books of this year. I really love it. Let me read you what it says here. People think a soulmate is your perfect fit, and that's what everyone wants. But a true soulmate is a mirror, the person who shows you everything that it's holding you back. And that's when she is going through India and she is rediscovering all this stuff. She goes through a messy divorce and she decides to embark on this big trip. And she always wanted to go to Italy to learn Italian. She wanted to go to India because when she learned about yoga and everything in New York City, she wanted to learn more about it. And then she wanted to go to Bali because she had already went to Bali, but she wanted to return and stay there longer and learn from it. And it's a whole trip that transforms her through food, through praying, and and through love, because she finds love for herself and other people. It's a beautiful book. I truly recommend it for you to read it. You will take so much from it. Then I read The Things We Leave Unfinished. And this book is by Rebecca Yarros. And if this name sounds familiar, it's because she is the author of The Four Wing. And this I didn't think so. I've been wanted to read her other books and I was scared, but because she wrote fantasy, I didn't know how I was gonna react to this one, because this is like a total 180 degrees change. This is a historical fiction that happens during the Second World War. One part of it, because it's a dual story, and then the second part is, and then the other story parallel to this, it happens in nowadays, and it's about this it's the granddaughter of a writer, and her grandmother just died, and they want to publish the last book that she was working on, but she needs like to finish the book, and for the ending they hire a writer and he has to finish it, and they fall in love. But it's a beautiful story overall. I love it. It's heartbreaking at the end. Really, I wasn't expecting it. 5 stars. Definitely something that you need to read. Rebecca Yarros doesn't disappoint. It is if it's fantasy or if it's historical fiction, she doesn't disappoint. She is a 10, I have to say. The last book of the month that I had, it was I did it as an audiobook, and it's The Mother-in-Law. And I have to be honest, at the beginning, I have a lot of honesty today. I gave it 5 stars when I that I just finished the book. And then I start thinking, I don't think this book is a 5-star. Like, yeah, the way it ended, it was like, what? But it doesn't make it a 5-star. It was kind of slow and dragging. The characters didn't develop completely. I wish they will develop more of certain characters, that they were very involved in this story. So this is a domestic mystery. Diana is the matriarch of the Goodwin family, dies unexpectedly. They think she died because of she took her own life. But then they start suspecting the police that it wasn't her doing, that it was somebody else. So it becomes a homicide. So they start pinpointing all the members of the family because they think that one of them is the one that had to do it, because apparently there's a lot of secrets in this family. So yeah, it was interesting, but I wish I wanted more from it. So 3 stars. And I'll just show you this, but this is the first book that I just finished for October, and it's Dreamland by Nicholas Sparks. So really, really good. I really enjoyed. So my book of the month for this month for September was Eat, Pray, Love. By far, I think it was my top book of the month. And if you want to count the other books that I really, really enjoy are The Things We Leave Unfinished, The Grace Year, and The Sister of the Bride, besides the Harry Potter ones, of course. And overall, I read 5,249 pages, and I read a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 books on the month of September. It was kind of like a crazy month, but I was able to make it, and I'm really happy. I have like 20 more books, I think, to go to finish my goal of the year of 150 books. So I'm very excited about it. So this is it for today. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I will really appreciate it. And if you wanna tell me which books are you reading this month of October, just let me know in the comments over there. I would like to see it. Thank you. Bye.